Hello, here we are again at the REACH Gathering 2016 and our CSRM interviews, and we're taking time to talk to folks who had some history, learning about where we've come from, talking to folks about what we're doing currently, and then also how we're building for the future. And it's my great privilege and honor to be with Todd James. And Todd has had a long history of sports ministry and sports outreach. Todd, how did you get started in sports ministry?
I think probably in the early days, I went to some of the ministry that Athletes in Action was doing, Wes Neal, Dave Hanna, and some of those early pioneers kind of that were coming out and bringing it more to coaches. So, and I was a coach at that time. So that's
You were a high school coach.
high school coach, and I was a Christian, so I began to investigate how could I be involved in a ministry that would use my talents. So that's how I got connected to Athletes in Action at the time.
And you've spent the bulk of your life, your ministry life, as a missionary. Tell us about that.
Well, when I was coaching, I always thought I'd be a basketball coach. And God was working on me at that time. And back in 1979, 80, we just felt God's call to missions. And you would have thought I would have gone towards something like Athletes in Action or one of those ministries. But for some reason, because I'd been in Denmark before I was a Christian, I knew kind of the spiritual needs of that country. So we sought out a mission that was working in Denmark, which was Greater Europe Mission. So there was only 6 missionaries in the country at the time when we came in. And we were there for a year and a half. And Denmark expelled all Christian work out of the country. Mm-hmm. And so for the last 34 years, we've been in Dublin, Ireland, doing church planting.
And who were you with? Under what umbrella?
Well, I was under Greater Europe Mission for the first 19 years, and actually tried to develop sports ministry within that mission. And it was very slow happening, but I had people like Bernard Langer and some of the golfers come and do ministry with me, and some of the sports ministries from the States that were coming out and going to other places, and they were using it as a discipleship tool for their own people that they were working with. So I did that, and GEM we thought they were going to go towards sports ministry.
Greater Europe Mission.
Yeah, Greater Europe Mission, and they didn't. So I felt the Lord wanted me to do sports ministry, so we left GEM, and then I actually got involved in another church plant, which I hadn't planned on, and using sports all along as the tool to reach into my community. But I wouldn't say I was doing sports ministry. I was discipling people for leadership of a church more at that time.
You were involved some with the Evangelical Friends and the Evangelical Friends mission. Mm-hmm. And you and I connected because that's my background as well. Mm-hmm. And some of the Friends churches, particularly in California, were supporting you, still are.
Right.
And you also helped Barclay University think about their sports ministry program. Mm-hmm. And that's going great. It's moving forward still. And then we got a great chance, and I felt a real honor and privilege that you joined the CSRM staff after you retired.
Mm-hmm. Well, what had happened was that EFM, Evangelical Friends Mission, really didn't understand sports ministry. So they asked that if I would join another organization, and luckily enough I knew CSRM, and so we talked, and I joined CSRM to actually really help EFM and to move sports ministry on. So that's kind of what we were working for in the last 2 years, to see if God would open doors on their mission fields more, not just their churches in America, but on the mission field, to use sports as an outreach tool.
And I think that they really want to know how to do it, and this is why they're saying, help us do it, and that's continuing on. And in fact, our CSRM staff man in Nepal is also now connecting with the EFM, and so I think they are trying, but again, that's another area that you kind of pioneered, and people have known about what you've been doing. I think, well, and then you also became the second, following Roger Oswald, and we've all followed Roger Oswald at some point, became the second staff emeritus person for CSRM, and that's your current capacity.
Right.
But this, as you know, meaning staff emeritus doesn't mean that you stop, but rather that you're continuing on and doing some things.
Right.
And you can share whatever you want to share with that, but I want to make sure that people understand how one particular thing has so impacted the world. And that's a little devotional, little brochure that you designed. Tell us about that.
Well, about 18 years ago, I woke up because Irish people were always asking me, what did I do? And they knew me from my sports background, from coaching. And I woke up one morning, and in 45 minutes, I wrote Meet My Head Coach. And today,
meet My Head Coach.
Right. And today, it's in, I think, 36 languages or versions. I mean, it's morphed into other sports. And for me, as a basketball coach, John Wooden agreed about 6 years ago to have his own version. He is now with the head coach.
Yeah.
But I was glad I was able to help him to share his own testimony of his faith in Christ. Yeah. And that's used at the Final Four, and it's been a real blessing to me to see God use something that I would have only expected to give to Irish people to move on to others. So.
And Todd, that Meet My Head Coach, you were just at the Final Four, and you got it out to, if we said a bunch of names, people would recognize it. And if you're watching this video and you want to even know what that's like, you've put that on the CSRM website. It's one of the features on our CSRM website, so you can just go to csrm.org and you can look under devotionals. You'll find Meet My Head Coach that Todd has written and continues to move it around the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just went into Chinese through a guy named Gannon Baker who was doing clinics there. And, I try to move it to as many people and make it as available. And so if you go on the website, you can download it. You can, and I don't mind if you put your own church's logo or a logo of your organization on it. All I care is that the gospel is shared, and if you can use Meet My Head Coach. There's actually a soccer version, an American football version. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and what I hope to do in the last year or so of my ministry, although I'll probably be emeritus, is to use my basketball background to help ministries in Europe especially to do outreach and see what God does.
Well, Todd, it's been a joy to be on staff with you and to see this go on, and on behalf of all those people who you will only meet when you get to heaven, who are there because somebody gave them that brochure, or someone that came to the churches that you planted, or someone out there because of your influence. You've got a great destiny to, and we're not sending you off soon. You've got another couple 3 decades with us,
yeah.
but when you get there, you're going to see the results.
Well, I mean, to God be the glory.
Absolutely.
It's He that does it, and He uses us, obviously, in our talents and our gifts, and it's just a pleasure to be able to serve CSRM and continue to use my basketball and see what He does. So thank you.
Last question for you, Todd. Why should a church get involved with CSRM?
Well, because first of all, I believe in sports ministry. I think it's the best tool to reach into communities because the world loves sports. So CSRM is using that tool and teaching people how to use it to be more effective than just having sports in their church. It's consciously finding ways that will be effective to share the gospel. So that's why I would think that joining CSRM, learning what sports ministry is and how to do sports ministry. It's an ongoing training. And I'll finish with Coach Wooden. Coach Wooden says, when you're done learning, you're done. So you can always learn more, and CSRM is kind of in that cutting edge of teaching sports ministry.
Well, thank you for that. And again, CSRM exists to equip local churches to change lives through sports and recreation. So get online, find the ways that you can be equipped. And Todd, thanks so much for being with us here at Reach Gathering 2016.
Thank you.